The Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, recently did an interview earlier, and he said he wanted to discuss the social media ban. So I'm going to be analysing this and pulling it apart and explaining why Albo is a filthy, lying communist.
Will this save lives?
Yes, it will. And
Okay, now explain how it will potentially do that.
I've met in this very room with parents who've had to farewell their young sons or daughters. And those tragedies, every one of them is one too many.
Well, so that is unfortunate. That doesn't mean that that's a reasonable or valid excuse to force the repercussions of that onto the people that are using it reasonably. It's up to the parents to decide if their kids are on social media or not, not up to the government.
When we were young, Mark, our parents knew what we were up to.
Mostly
So he's essentially just now saying that, just because we were younger means that this generation now has to live and do the same what we did when we were younger. Like, what kind of sense does that make, Albo?
Determined for this to happen. And this has support right across the parliament.
So, two things he just said. He just said that Australians want this to happen when clearly that's not the case. You look on Sky News and all the polls and all that, most Australians, even over 16s and people in their 30s, do not want this to go through because it's clearly trying to push digital IDs. Second of all, he said it has support all across Parliament. What about the general population, mate?
Read a book, talk with, and actually communicate and develop those human relations with their friends.
Well, that is an interesting point, but would there people that really don't have the option to communicate in the outside and they, actually do better communicating, on the online world, It's the only way to have their opinions and voices out there and be heard. People that are, mute or just have, anxiety or something like that.
Those human relations with their friends. What we know is that the schools who banned mobile phones during class have seen better educational outcomes, but they've also seen less stress, less mental health issues, better communication because kids are actually playing with each other and talking with.
Oh yeah, banning mobile phones as well. Why would you completely ban them outright? I understand not wanting them in class, but what if there's an urgent emergency going on the outside and the student that needs be contacted and there's no other way of contacting her? It's quicker than going way down to the office and having the student and the parent communicate with the office as an in-between source of information. And also, those policies were set by Albo as well, likely. So he's just, meat-rotting himself at this point.
Teachers, but most importantly, it's better for students.
And real quick, I just want to touch on the topic of teachers. I understand they're just doing their jobs, but they may carry on and say, "Oh no, you're disrespecting me," when they're the ones enforcing these dumbass policies, saying that all you need to wear exactly the same clothes, do and think the same way. If you're going to carry on because the students disrespecting you, that's an unfortunate scenario where both parties are in a bad mood. But if you're making everyone be in this state of complete this complete lack of individuality, it's more disrespectful than disrespecting a teacher. So if you're going to enforce all these policies that make it really difficult and stressful for the students, how much respect do you really deserve then?
About compliance. And this is the law. This isn't a voluntary thing. And of course, like anything, we ban children from going into a pub until they're 18.
Yeah, so again, he's going on about, oh no, you have to follow these laws, there's no option here. Like, if I disagree with the law that is against my and everyone else's best interest, then like, why do I have to follow it? You know, like, it's obviously not going to help me. So why will I need to follow it? It's not going to do anything but do bad stuff. You know.
So important.
Not all countries are happy with this, though. We've seen the messages coming from the Congress in the US about it being censorship. There's a sense that Donald Trump isn't a big supporter. What do you say to the US?
What we say is that we're a sovereign nation and we have made this decision as a country, and it has over...
This has to be the most outrageous part of this entire, 9-minute interview. He says, oh, we're a sovereign nation. There's no way that Albo, who's forcing these policies without consent from the people, he's seriously trying to say that's a sovereign nation. Seriously. This is what happens when you involve yourself in too many communist, affiliations. This is what happens to become a very, tyrannical and enforceful, figure, you know.